Imagine Xiao Zhan stepping outside his home, expecting nothing unusual, only to freeze in disbelief. Right in front of him stood a luxury car completely wrapped in glowing lights, covered with red roses, and painted across the windshield were the words, "For you, Xiao Zhan." His first thought? This has to be a mistake. Who would do something this bold, this dramatic? But before he could even move closer, the car horn honked twice, and the door slowly opened. Out stepped Wang Yibo with the widest grin Xiao Zhan had ever seen. Xiao Zhan's jaw nearly dropped. This wasn't just any car. It was a rare model he had once admired casually in an interview, joking that it was his dream ride. At the time, he thought no one took that comment seriously. But now, here it was, decorated like a scene out of a movie, sitting in his driveway. "Do you like it?" Wang Yibo asked, pretending to be calm but unable to hide the sparkle in his eyes. Xiao Zhan laughed nervously, still processing. "You didn't actually buy this, did you?" he stammered. Yibo only shrugged, casually tossing the keys in his hand as if it were no big deal. "Well, I thought you deserved something unforgettable. You work so hard, you barely give yourself a break. So I thought, why not surprise you?" People nearby started gathering, some fans and neighbors, whispering in shock. Cameras were out, recording every detail, because this was something no one had ever seen before. Wang Yibo, usually reserved and quiet about big gestures, had just gone above and beyond in the most extravagant way possible. Xiao Zhan finally walked closer, his hand brushing the roses carefully placed across the hood. "Yibo, this is insane. You shouldn't have done this," he said softly, though his smile betrayed his true feelings. He was touched beyond words. But Yibo wasn't done yet. "Wait, there's more," he announced. He opened the trunk, revealing boxes filled with personalized gifts. Small things only someone who truly knew Xiao Zhan would think of. His favorite snacks, handwritten letters, even a custom photo album of memories from their years of friendship and work together. Every page told a story, every picture captured a moment that defined their bond. Xiao Zhan's eyes grew glassy, his voice breaking. "You remembered all of this?" he whispered. Yibo simply nodded. "Of course I did. You're more than a colleague. You've always been there for me. This car is just metal and wheels. What really matters is everything we've shared." The crowd around them erupted in applause, some shouting their names, others gasping at the sheer effort Wang Yibo had put in. Xiao Zhan, overwhelmed, turned to Yibo and hugged him tightly. It wasn't just about the car. It was about the message behind it, loyalty, care, and a friendship that ran deeper than anyone could see on the surface. Then, in a playful twist, Yibo tossed him the keys. "Come on, you're driving. Let's take it for a spin." Xiao Zhan laughed, shaking his head. "You surprise me with a car and then make me the driver? Typical." But he slid into the driver's seat anyway, still grinning. The engine roared to life, and the glowing decorations lit up even brighter, making it feel like the night itself was celebrating with them. As they drove off, fans chased behind cheering, their voices echoing in the distance. Inside the car, Xiao Zhan finally relaxed, glancing at Yibo. "You know, this is the craziest thing you've ever done," he said. Yibo smirked, leaning back casually. "Good. That means it worked." For the rest of the night, they drove through the city, music blasting, laughter filling the car. Every street they passed seemed to stop and stare, people pointing at the glowing ride carrying two of the most admired stars in the country. It was more than a gift, it was a memory carved in time, one that no fan, no bystander, and certainly neither of them would ever forget. By the time they parked back home, Xiao Zhan's heart was still racing. He looked at Yibo one last time and said, "I'll never be able to top this surprise." Yibo just smirked knowingly. That's the point. And with that, the shocking gift of a decorated dream car turned into something far greater, a legendary moment of friendship, love, and surprise that would be talked about for years to come. Xiao Zhan shook his head, still smiling, but inside he was overwhelmed. He wasn't used to being the one on the receiving end of grand surprises. Usually, he was the one quietly giving, making sure everyone else was taken care of. Now, with Yibo standing in front of him so confident and proud, he realized just how deeply Yibo had been paying attention all these years. The neighbors had gone back inside, but a few loyal fans still lingered in the distance, whispering and snapping photos. Xiao Zhan lowered his voice. "Do you realize what you just did? Tomorrow, this will be everywhere. Headlines, videos, endless rumors." Yibo shrugged casually, as if none of it bothered him. "Let them talk. I don't care what people say. I just wanted you to know how much you matter to me." Those words hit harder than the surprise itself. For Xiao Zhan, who often carried the weight of expectations on his shoulders, hearing someone say so openly that he mattered was almost too much. He leaned back against the car, staring up at the night sky, trying to process. "You know," he said softly, "I'll never forget this moment. Even if the world forgets tomorrow, this will stay with me." Yibo smiled quietly, not saying a word. That was his way, big actions, few explanations. But his silence spoke louder than anything else. They decided to take one more drive before calling it a night. The streets were quieter now, city lights reflecting on the hood decorated with roses and glowing strips of light. As Xiao Zhan drove, Yibo leaned forward, adjusting the music to one of their old favorite tracks, the kind they used to listen to when rehearsing late at night, exhausted but laughing through it all. The song filled the car, and suddenly, they weren't just two celebrities in a decorated luxury ride. They were just two young men, friends who had been through storms together, now enjoying a moment of pure freedom. Xiao Zhan glanced at Yibo and chuckled. "You know this feels unreal, right? Like a scene out of a drama." Yibo smirked. "Yeah, except this time, it's real. No scripts, no cameras, just us." As the music played, they started talking about memories. The first time they met, the struggles of their early careers, the moments when they doubted themselves but found strength in each other's encouragement. Xiao Zhan confessed something he hadn't said aloud before. "Back then, I almost gave up. But you kept pushing me forward without even realizing it." Yibo turned his head sharply. "Me? No, it was you who kept me going." Xiao Zhan shook his head firmly. "You don't see it, Yibo. But you've always been my anchor." For a while, the car was silent except for the music, their thoughts heavy with unspoken gratitude. Then Yibo finally said, "Well, if I'd been your anchor, then you've been my wings. Without you, I wouldn't have dared to try half the things I've done." The sincerity in his voice left Xiao Zhan speechless. He gripped the steering wheel tighter, fighting the sudden rush of emotion. This wasn't just about a decorated car anymore. This was about years of trust, respect, and an unshakable bond forged in the toughest of times. By the time they pulled back into the driveway, the roses on the car were starting to wilt slightly, the glow dimming as the night grew later. But to Xiao Zhan, it still looked like the most beautiful gift he had ever received. He turned off the engine, sat back, and looked at Yibo one last time. "Thank you," he said simply, but with a weight that carried everything he couldn't put into words. Yibo nodded, satisfied. "That's all I needed to hear." The two of them stood by the car for a long moment, letting the night breeze wash over them. No cameras, no fans, no stage, just them. And in that quiet, Xiao Zhan realized something. Sometimes, the most shocking surprises weren't about the size of the gift, but about the depth of the thought behind it. And that night, under the stars, with a car wrapped in lights and roses, Wang Yibo had given him something priceless, not just a ride, but a memory that would last forever. Don't forget to subscribe for more.